The crowd had not yet fully processed his arrival when Kim Seokjin's voice cut through the air, sharp and commanding. Use all your energy tonight. Why would a single sentence from BTS's eldest member send 17,000 people into a collective frenzy? What made this opening night at Amsterdam's Ziggo Dome feel less like a concert and more like a seismic event? The answer may lie not only in the music, but in the unmistakable sense that Jin's words carried a warning, a challenge, and a promise all at once. From the very first moment he appeared under the piercing lights, Jin's presence commanded attention with an authority that could not be faked. This was not the polite smile of a celebrity greeting fans. This was the stance of a man prepared to push himself and everyone in front of him to their absolute limit. His opening statement, delivered in a firm, unwavering tone, was not an invitation. It was an order, and the thousands of army packed inside the Ziggo Dome obeyed without hesitation, responding with a wave of sound so deafening that the stage's foundation seemed to tremble. For weeks, speculation had swirled about what Jin's first major solo tour would bring. Yet nothing could have prepared the audience for the intensity that unfolded tonight. This was not a slow build-up. It was a full-scale detonation from the first note. The setlist, still a closely guarded secret prior to the show, unfolded like a carefully loaded weapon, each song strategically placed to build tension and release it in explosive bursts. But even more striking than the music was the raw energy Jin radiated, moving with the precision of an artist who knew exactly what message he wanted to send. Observers noted that the Ziggo Dome itself seemed to amplify the moment. Its design, known for producing one of the most immersive sound experiences in Europe, transformed every cheer, every chant, into a physical force that pressed against the chest. Jin, standing at the center, seemed almost to feed off this pressure. Every movement was calculated. The way he raised his arm to the crowd before a chorus, the way he leaned forward during certain lines, locking eyes with the front rows as if delivering his lyrics directly to individuals rather than an audience of thousands. This wasn't just a concert, it was the official ignition of something much larger. The choice of Amsterdam as the opening city already raised eyebrows in the industry. The Ziggo Dome is not an easy venue to secure, and headlining it as a Korean solo artist is unprecedented. But Jin's decision to begin here hinted at a strategic move, to position his tour not only as a cultural event, but as a global statement. Industry analysts present at the show remarked on the scale of production, noting that every element, from the lighting design to the timing of pyrotechnics, was executed with military precision. Nothing was left to chance. Still, it was his repeated insistence on energy that gave the night its unforgettable tone. Between songs, Jin returned to the theme, urging the crowd to give more, to scream louder, to move harder. It was as though he knew that the success of this first night would set the pace for the entire tour. There was no room for hesitation, no allowance for a lukewarm reception. And the crowd understood. By the midpoint of the concert, the air inside the Ziggo Dome was thick with heat and adrenaline, the kind that leaves ears ringing long after the music stops. Adding to the tension was the way Jin peppered his performance with moments that felt almost like coded messages. At one point, he paused between songs, looked out into the audience with a half smile, and said, "This is only the beginning." The crowd erupted, but the meaning lingered in the air. Was he referring to the night, the tour, or something beyond? The ambiguity only heightened the sense that something significant was in motion, something that perhaps only Jin fully understood. Visually, the show was a masterpiece of contrasts. One moment, the stage was bathed in a deep crimson glow, matching the pounding bass of an intense track. The next, it was flooded with pure white light as Jin delivered a softer, more emotional ballad. Each transition was seamless, yet jarring in its emotional impact. By the time the encore arrived, the audience had been pulled through a full spectrum of sensations: exhilaration, anticipation, even the brief, quiet moments of collective breath before the next sonic wave hit. Those who came expecting a safe, conventional tour opener were proven wrong within minutes. This was a performance that demanded participation, that refused to allow anyone to remain a passive observer. The crowd's chants were not mere background noise. They became an integral part of the show's architecture. Every call from Jin was met with a response so loud it seemed to distort the air. And in those exchanges, a mutual contract formed. He would give everything on stage, and they would give everything in return. The emotional weight of the night also cannot be ignored. As the final song neared its close, Jin stood still for a moment, letting the crowd's roar wash over him. He didn't speak immediately. Instead, he let the silence stretch just long enough to create a palpable sense of anticipation. When he finally broke it, his words carried the same sharp edge as his opening. "Remember this night. This is where it all starts." The reaction was instantaneous, a thunderous eruption that seemed almost to shake the ceiling. In the hours following the concert, social media exploded with footage and reactions. But even the highest quality clips failed to capture the sheer physicality of being inside the Ziggo Dome during those 2 hours. Fans described leaving the venue with voices hoarse, bodies exhausted, and yet still buzzing with the residual energy of the show. Many echoed the same sentiment. It felt like being part of history in real time. The significance of Jin's command, "Use all your energy tonight," became clearer as the night unfolded. It was not just about the performance. It was about setting a tone, creating a shared moment of intensity that would ripple forward into every stop of the tour. If the opening night in Amsterdam was any indication, this will not be a series of safe, predictable concerts. This will be a relentless push toward the limits of both performer and audience. And so, the question lingers in the aftermath. If this was only the first night, how much further is Jin prepared to go? More importantly, how much more can the audiences around the world give when he demands they use all their energy? The tour has only just begun, but already it has made one thing unmistakably clear. Jin is not here to simply perform. He is here to dominate, to redefine expectations, and to ensure that every person who walks out of his concert feels changed. The Ziggo Dome was the proving ground, and by all accounts, it has been conquered. If you want, I can also prepare a short, high-impact YouTube video description for this same article, so it's ready to be published with SEO optimization for Jin BTS's Ziggo Dome tour opener. That will make it perfect for both news and video coverage. Would you like me to do that next?